Now I've been working on this image using various selection tools. Now I'm going to use one of the most powerful tools you've got. Some people find it a little bit difficult to get started with. It's actually quite simple. Now what I want to do is take this teddy bear, I want to edit, I want to isolate the red part, change its colour. So I want to come to the pen tool, P for pen, and we're ready to go. I'm going to come here, I'm going to click place point. Simple enough. I'm going to come to this point. You can see where it starts to come up and curve off. Fine, we can do that. I'm going to click, but now I'm going to drag out, and you see I'm dragging, I put a point down and I'm dragging out the curve. I'm going to come here, I'm going to do the same thing again. Click and drag out, and I'm dragging out a curve. And that's the basics of the pen tool. Now you can see I'm starting to get down to a bit of a point here, so I'm going to click and drag out a curve. Then I'm going to hold down the Alt key and move this little control line so that now my next point goes off at an angle. And an angle again, an angle again, come round here, and you can see it goes quite quickly around. Now you can see there, I've overshot a little bit there. This control point is giving me too much of a curve, not a problem. Come back to Alt, and I can adjust that. You can see however I want it. There. Come back to my pen tool. Come around. There, I want a little bit of an angle on there, so Alt again. Come around. Definitely want an angle here, so Alt again. Move that control bar around. Get a sharp angle. Sharp angle. Let's go off a little bit. Come back here. Now, double clicking doesn't really work. Not like the polygon lasso tool. Instead, you come back to where you can see that little circle by the icon, click on there, and there's your basic shape sorted. But as you can see, it's not perfect. I've got that thing there, I've got a spare point there that I don't need. Let's come back to our pen tool. That's the basic one. Add anchor point, delete anchor point. Let's go to delete anchor point and come to this one, and you get rid of it. This one needs moving though. So what I'm going to do, two icons down from the pen tool, I've got the path selection tool and the direct selection tool. I want the direct selection tool, the white arrow. So now I've got all my control points there. I want to select this one, and now I can move it around to where I want it to go. So I've got ultimate editability. I can take one of these little control points going off to the sides. I can adjust them as much as I want. How about that one there? I could do is extending out a little bit there. And a little bit there, and I'm able to make fine tuning to my selection area. Incredible amount of control. They're a bit difficult to get your head around, but once you do, you can use this in a lot of different Adobe programs, and a lot of programs use these same conventions for drawing things out. Now take a look here. I could really do with that. That's curved on one side, straight on the other. I don't really want that, so I'm going to come to my pen, convert point tool. If I click on it, it turns into that little kind of A shape, or lambda shape if you're Greek, Yasu Tikanis if you are Greek, and I can convert that to curve on either side using the convert point tool. Come back to my direct selection tool and drag that down into place. Now what I've made there isn't a selection just yet, it's a path. You can see it doesn't have the little marching ants going around, and it also has control points. Not a problem. Let's come to not our layers palette, our paths palette, and you can see it's called this our work path. If I come down to the bottom of the paths palette, put a little icon here. If I click on there, load path as a selection, there's my selection, and I can do with that pretty much anything I can do with a normal selection, because that's what it is. It's a normal selection. Now here's a very useful tip. Quite often when I'm working, I'll make a selection, make changes there, then I'll go away, make another selection, and then I'll come back and think, well, I wish I had that original selection instead of having to draw it all out again. Okay, that's my selection. If I come to channels, I've got all my various different channels, the red channel, the green channel, the blue channel, which make up the finished image. But if I come down to the bottom, see this little icon here, save selection as a channel. What I've just done, that selection around the teddy bear It's now saved as something called Alpha 1, and I can even rename it, there it is, to Teddy Scarf. Teddy Sackruff. Let's change that. Scarf. There we go. Now, at the moment that's visible. Let's make it invisible. Let's call back our original channels and make this invisible. Right, deselect. It's gone. That selection's gone. But if I want to call it back, I can come to here and I can do load channel as a selection. Bang, it's back again. I can do whatever I want with it. Now the pen tool combined with the channels and the paths can give you an enormous amount of flexibility when it comes to saving selections and recalling them with a couple of clicks of your mouse. Now while we're on the subject of drawing out selection areas, there's just a couple more things I just need to touch on. Now we've been doing the marching ants thing, defining areas. If I come down, see where I've got my two colour swatches, my foreground colour and my background colour? Just underneath it, I've got this edit in quick mask mode. Well, what's that then? Watch the screen when I press the button. All of a sudden, everything which is selected appears in a normal colour, and everything which isn't selected is kind of redded out. This is kind of the red colour of the quick mask mode. Now, if I come to my paintbrush, I can start to paint into that mask there, like this. I can swap my colours around. Now I'm painting with white, and I can add to. This works in a very similar way to layer masks, but it's quick mask. I can do this. I can come around here. I can start to take out some of the teddy bear's head here. And here's a little tip for you. If you're working with the paintbrush, any kind of brush, if you press Ctrl plus Alt and the right mouse button, you can make it bigger by dragging it up to the left or the right, smaller to the right, bigger to the right, smaller to the left, sorry. And if I drag it down, I can make it harder or softer. So, soft go up, hard come down. And you can see I'm getting a softer edged brush here. Okay, I want that to be a little bit smaller here because I need to work a bit tighter. Spacebar gives me the hand. I can shift things around, let go of the spacebar. And I'm just very quickly, instead of just the scarf of the teddy bear, I'm now drawing out the head. Swap back to black and either use Ctrl plus Alt and right click and make the brush smaller or larger, or I can go to my keyboard and press the square brackets. The right square bracket makes things larger, the left square bracket makes things smaller. And I can start to draw in some more of the mask. There. And I'll come back to my white, paint that back in here. So that way I can control how hard or how soft the brush is. What's a good hard area there? I can define a good hard area. Get rid of that. If I want to have a soft area, I can define a soft area. Get rid of that. And I can really make this mask look very, very complete. Once I'm happy with those changes, I come back to the quick mask mode and it says edit in standard mode. It's a toggle button. Press it again. There's my new selection. With a pen tool, it's a graphic way of doing things. You draw out your points in a precise way. With a quick mask, it's a painterly way of doing things. You paint in the mask you want. Either way can give you some very spectacular results. And if you like that, we can always come back here and save the selection as a channel. So Control D to deselect. There's my channel there. And if I want to call it back again, come here and load the channel as a selection and it comes back again. If I just want the scarf, load channel as selection. That's the flexibility. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, maybe you consider clicking on one of the links below and check out my game called Disco Baby, which is on the iTunes Store or Android stores like Google Play. It has 3 different games in it: a memory game, a maths game for children, and a dance along with me game for toddlers to join in with. Thanks for your time.